So now that we have all our cutouts for our sunflower bud, we will start rolling it into the little stem inside your kit. So it's very simple. You grab your, you may want to do, I kind of do this to the little edges. You kind of twist them so they can become a little bit more like little sticks, you know, similar to the bud. So you just heat them up and just twist them up like that. So you may want to do that. You don't have to. And we are going to start rolling first the small ones, okay? So, and we are going to start, and this is going to be exciting. So we want to start here. And we put more glue all the way to the edge. You can use your, and we start rolling, 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 rolling. And you try to keep, so here you go. You may also want to, you know, heat it up, maybe with a heat that better. But you have your first initial roll. Now we're gonna go with the second. And I'm just gonna do that same little thing. Just so it can be, they can be a little bit more like little sticks. And we are going to keep on rolling. First the small ones. And we stretch it out and we continue to make a big glue. And we continue to roll. And here we go. You can see. We will need our scissors in this step, and then we're gonna go with the next one. See, you see this one looks a little bit shorter, so we're gonna try to put it a little bit up. I think this was the edge that didn't come out that well. That was a little bit crooked, so just make sure that you kind of keep the line. We're still gonna cut off and give it a form on the bud at the end, but you do want to keep it as straight as possible. So now we're gonna keep on going. Keep on going. Oops. So we need to make it higher. See this one here? We got to make it higher. Maybe I should have put that one in the beginning, but doesn't matter. Because remember how the sunflower, the bud kind of curves all the way up? So we got to make sure each time it should be, every roll we do, it should be just a tiny little, not noticeable higher, but it gradually like keeps on going up. So here you see, we're gonna keep on going up. I don't know if you can see. And here is, we'll put a little bit more glue. And here it goes a little bit up. And we continue. Go all the way, and then we just, and now it's all back to the same height, right at the top. And you see this little edge is a little bit higher, so we are going to make a little cut. Make sure, well, we're gonna wait a little bit to the end, but here we're going to have my scissors here. Here is where those little scissors that from dollar store work pretty well. So you just make sure these little things are our flush. And here we go. So we got one and we got a lot to still go. So here we go. It's holding pretty good. So now we go the next one. Actually, this is the smallest one. And now from here, it's gonna start going a little bit taller and taller and taller, but very, very subtle. It's gotta be very subtle, like in a, yeah, I don't know if you can see, they're a tiny little bit taller. So actually I'm gonna put the glue here and then keep on going around. Just, oh, I didn't thermoform these little edges, so we may want to do it in a bit. Let me show you how we're going to do it. So we keep on going, like the little bunny rabbit. It keeps going and going and going. Just want it a little bit higher. Very subtle. So if we didn't thermoform these, we can turn off on our heat gun and kind of just a little bit the edges. Just a little bit. So now you want to cut the very little edges. It still looks a little bit higher, but you're not supposed to notice the difference too much. It's just gonna have to be going like a little bit like slanted. Now we're gonna go with the next one. Before I forget to thermoform it. Works exactly the same. I just like it a little bit more when it's thermoform. It's very subtle. You can't really even tell the difference. So I'm gonna cut this off because you're just gonna keep on going and going and going. And it's going to be a very big, oh, here, we need to cut here. 1, 2, do a fourth cut. So we're going to continue on our little bud, which will be a very, very, very big bud in the very near future. So we keep on going. We put a little bit of glue here. And we just keep on going. There you go. So I'm just gonna cut this little edge right here. You can see it looks a little bit taller right there. We just want this to look just a tiny bit. Just a very tiny bit taller, so we're gonna continue with the next one. And you can see how it starts getting a little bit taller. I'm going to put some more glue here. And we're going to continue. There we go. Here, it's a little bit out, so I'm just gonna cut it tiny little bit. Want it taller, but not that much taller. So we're gonna continue. We're gonna actually thermoform these last two ones and the rest look taller, so I'm just gonna give it this little twist here, like a little hairdo. So we're gonna do that one, and I might as well do this one already, so we can have them both. Now here we need to cut. Just gonna do that. This from here. Actually, I'm going to get it off the table because this is where I need to have this. Very important, if you, my mat is all kind of curved because of the heat. So these mats have their thing. So we're going to keep on going here. Just keep on going. Make sure it looks a little tiny bit taller than the previous layer. Tiny wee bit taller. So we are going. Looks a little bit taller, a little bit too tall there. And we're going to keep on going. So there we go. So now we got, I think this is the last shorter one, although you can't really tell the difference. You know, it's it all depends when you glue it, how it starts going. So I'm just gonna put some glue here all the way down. And then I'm just going to roll. And just a little bit more. You see? Sideways. Okay, so we're gonna go. Now let's thermoform these other ones, and we are going to continue. Just get them ready for the party. Now, if you have something like this, like happened to me, you just take it out. You're still gonna put it on. Oh, it happened to me here too, so I cut too deep. This one needs to be cut right here. So I got all these little hairs ready. give it a cut to this one, which is a little bit too. So now we're gonna continue with our sunflower bud. Wow, this is way taller, so I'm gonna have to push it down a little bit. But that's kind of like the look we want. So we're going to, I'm going to make a little line here all the way down. And we're just going to roll it, making sure we got the height we want. And we got it. Look at that, how pretty. So I'm just gonna cut this one, which I think is a little bit too much of a difference in the height. And then we're gonna go with the next one. And we're just going to continue. A little bit of glue. I think I need to get closer because I don't want to get out of the focus of the camera. So we're right there. Becoming taller on the edges. So we go the next one. So this one's thermoform. So we got that. Now let's thermoform this one's. Well, it's not really thermoforming, it's just kind of combing their little hairs. Cutest little thing. So here we go, and here the same thing happened. But we're still gonna keep our little hair. It was a lot of cutting we did, so we kind of want it all. Cut right here where I think it's a little piece missing. This one's thermoform. And one, two. Let's comb this one up. We comb this one up. And then the last one. So here we go. We continue. We keep on going until we have every single strip glued to our bud. And it's going to be a big bud. And it's going to be really cool. So I'm just going to put glue all over it and just continue as fast as possible. Making sure it looks a little bit taller than the previous line. Not so much. That would have weighed a little bit too much. And you see? Look at it sideways. Now we go on the next one. I'm just gonna put this little one here. The one that we kind of lost here. So I'm just gonna place it in there. This one looks a little bit shorter, so we're gonna continue this line here. And just a little bit taller than the previous. Not that much, but just a little bit. Yeah, I overdid it there. So you see how it starts angling out? Now now we've got this little piece that we cut somewhere wrong there, so we're gonna glue it. Actually, I'm gonna go all the way so I can glue this one and continue to the next one. Ooh, that was going a little bit too short. So we're gonna do this right here. Right there. Put some glue over here because I think that's faster for me. Almost there. 3 more little strips. So here, I'm just going to cut these little things that look a little bit out of line. You can see it sideways. You can see a little bit too much. And then we're just going to have the last ones. We are going to, at the end of it all, we're going to make a little bit of a green and yellow paint on the very, very tips of the bud. With our pastels, you can use your acrylics, you can use whichever color you like. So you can see this is kind of like rounding up, so this is going to help our petals when we put them around it. And we are on our last little part. And here we go. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Oh, I love flowers. I just really love flowers. And look at that. So you should be having a almost 5.5, 6-inch bud. And now we're gonna grab our color pastels, yellow and very light green and very light yellow. So this is a little bit wet. We want to get it a little bit wet. So we're just going to color this up a little bit. Let me get this wet for a minute. You can use acrylic and just put little dabs of color. So I'm going to use I don't know if you can see that. You can use orange, you know, whatever you think looks better for what you want or for your favorite. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the inside a little bit wet and put a little bit of yellow there. Can you see? So remember, you can use your acrylic. It'll work both ways. But here you do have to paint after you have it, because it's just basically the tip. It should look like little dabs, right? Like the little pollen. So I'm just gonna put more green on the outside and make sure it's pretty green. A little bit maybe more water, because I just learned, oh, wrong color. Look how pretty. So we are now done with our sunflower bud. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It looks sideways, it looks to the inside. So you may even want to put a little bit of dab with black. Let's try it. Let's try it. Just, I've never done it, but you know, you can always make up stuff. So you see how here it's darker? We're painting it with black. I need to put a little bit of water. This is water. And just look at that. Can you all see? So we are done with this one. Now let's go to the next step. So we now have our finished bud that looks beautiful. Our 8, 16, and 8 are 32 leaves. So we're gonna start off by, you are going to need, I think, a heat gun here, because we're gonna start forming it over the bud. So we put the bud sideways and we are going to start, you want the curves to the top. So you're gonna start gluing this here, okay? And after that, we're going to thermoform the edges just with a heat gun and continue. So we're going to place a dab of glue here and make sure you've got 1, very edge. So we've got 8. You need to make sure you glue the right side. If you don't, just unglue it and do it again. So we've got 1, 2, and we're gonna go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's starting to look so pretty. So as you recall, there's all these sunflowers have like these little ones in the middle, and then they start getting the real big ones. So these. So we got our beautiful little petals around our bud. Now what you want to do here is we are going to heat the little edge up. I'm going to heat these 4 on the side because you want to do this. You want them to the front without being too much. You know, it all depends how looking up you want it. So kind of like that. So now we're going to heat these other 4. You can see the difference. This one is standing up and these one are going up. So you just want to form this little thing around it like that. Make it a little bit flimsy there. And you know that they hold a little bit like that. So you got your little sunflower going there. Can you see that? Now this is totally up to you how closed or open you want it. I like it a little bit open, but we're gonna hold it there. Now if you want to glue a little bit more so it holds, let's do that. So it's just right at the very edge, okay? It's just a dab because you don't want it all, and you hold one. So I'm holding this one so it holds right around the bud. Now we're gonna do this one, and I'm just gonna put a dab on the bud without getting it, and then we're gonna hold it here. And then we're gonna put a little dab on the bud and hold it there. Make sure it is gluing, right? So the harder they are, you don't want this little flapping around. I'm always going crazy with the flapping. And I'm like, no. We don't want them flapping, especially, if they're gonna go to an outdoor production or you're gonna put it outdoors, you don't really want them flapping. So I'm gonna put a little bit there on the bud and then hold it until it glues. Look at how pretty. Looks so natural. It's gonna be so big. And then we're going to glue a little bit there again. And I don't know if you can see the orange shadow. It's very subtle. So, when we were painting, you was like, oh my God, it looks so a lot. But you can barely see it after it's thermoformed. So now we're gonna place it back down again. And, make sure this is still glued right. Doesn't unglue what we just glued, like these little parts. So now we're going to place this one, obviously, a little bit taller here. If you want it a little bit more out, but you know, I should probably leave it a little bit more out so it looks bigger and bigger and bigger. The bigger, the better. Everything is big in Texas. And I am in Texas. So, you know how the sunflower in the back has like a cap? So you want it to look like that, a cap. So you're gonna make sure you got the right side on. You put your glue, and you're going to continue this right here. We're gonna do the same little experiment right here. And we're going to fold inside. Because this is your little cap. This is what we're going to cover with all those little tiny little petals. The little leaves, I'm sorry. So now we're gonna go second one. Third one on our third. And I think this is the most exciting part of the flower when you're done and you start seeing your creation. It's really quite something. Then we go for, and if you are here, you are definitely a creative soul, because not everybody likes doing this or can actually do this. I think everybody can, but not everybody wants to, which is totally understandable. But for the crafters, we are just crazy about our crafts. So here we go. Going to hold this. Oh my God, I glued it the other way around. Oh. Did you see that? Oh, did I glue any? Oh boy, that was not good. I'm just gonna have to let that. Did you see? Glued it the other way around. Bad. So, oh boy. No. About to do the same mistake again. So here we go on number 8. And we just got one last layer to go. And we're gonna do that, we're gonna make sure, we're gonna keep 4. And make sure this little plate, this little thing goes like that. Hold it with your hand. And this is what we're gonna cover with our little leaves. I'm gonna do the same over here. Then we're gonna go ahead and glue the insides to the bud so we can have make sure they don't flap around. So make sure this is stretched and you get this little thing like that. You know, hold it with your hands. Make sure it gets thermoformed the way we want it to be thermoformed right here. You see? It looks a little bit, now it's starting to look the little form of a sunflower. Now that we have that, then we want to glue the inside to the bud. This little part that we thermoform, we're going to give it a little bit here. And we're going to glue to this. Make sure you put your finger to glue to the bud, and it keeps the form. Now we're gonna do that same thing over here. You see it's just the edge, but we needed to thermoform it first. So now we're gonna push here and make sure it's gluing somewhat to the bud. You know, like right there to the bud. And we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna do here, make sure it gets a little bit in the brown. You don't want that brown edge showing. So now we're gonna go in here. And we're going to keep here. So I think that this is our last one. So we're going to glue here, make sure it gets a little bit inside the brown bud. And we're going to glue. So this one's glued. I'm just gonna give it a one little push inside. And I'm going to make this little bud like really, really round. But we want to keep our petals open, so. Look at that. So then the last one, the last row, right over the other one, and it's going to look gorgeous. Can't wait to see it finished. I'm sure you can't either. So we do another one right here. Oh my God, I made the same mistake, guys. The other way around. Man, gotta be careful with that. And then, okay, do not mess up. So we now have this. Four more to go. Oh, let me see. This is the front part. Okay, so here we go. Two more to go. Oh, I did it again. Why? I think it's because I'm recording and I get nervous. Because I don't normally do that. Okay, this is a front, so this is, but I guess I am now making mistakes. So we're gonna do the same thing again, guys. We're gonna do this and give it the form of this, right? It gets harder the more petals you have. So we hold it around here. And this gets So here we go. Now we're just going to glue those petals to the other petals. Try to get it as close like that so it'll keep this form. Look at that. Look at that gorgeousness. But see, you don't want that flapping like that. That I don't like. So that's why we need to glue this to the previous. So we're gonna hold it here. And now a little bit taller. We're gonna go a little bit taller so it glues properly. You don't want it flapping. I don't like flapper flowers. Unless it's a giganormous one or a peony that's supposed to flap. But this one is supposed to be a little bit hard. Here we open it up, do the sides pretty well. Make sure we glue it here. This one to the sides, through the middle. Make sure we glue it here. And through the sides, through the middle. Make sure we glue it here. Okay, and we go through the sides, a little bit taller than the other, through the middle. And it's got to be properly glued, all the edges. And you see how this little curve is noticeable? So that's where we're going to glue this down on the sides, and that one's already glued. So we're in our last one, through the sides, through the middle, and we glue. Look at that. Now it doesn't flap. Oh my God, gorgeous. Gorgeous. So now what we gotta do is the next step. So we are done with the flower and we are ready for our leaves. So we have now finished our sunflower and we're gonna start working on the back. So we're gonna take here, we have our little cutout leaves that we've already cut and painted, and we are just going to warm it up and do something like this. So it's going to be formed over the flower, and we're just going to take our glue, and first we're going to go on the outer edges, and we're just going to glue it thermoformed to the form of our sunflower. So we're just gonna keep on going and thermoform next to it. Make sure it goes over the other one. And if you want, you can do this little, I don't know if you see the back of a sunflower, and we're just gonna glue this and continue all around. We're gonna go on the next one. Make sure the part that we painted, you can actually put glue after you thermoform it while it's warm, and you know, right where it's placed, it'll be glued. So that's as easy as can be. So we're gonna try the other one. We're gonna warm it up. You can put a little bit of glue on the upper part, and then while it's still warm, we thermoform it over the already formed sunflower. So we go for the next one. We put our glue on top while it's still warm, and we press it here. little bit stretched out so it can look like it's, you can even go twist here so it can give it a little bit more form. And then we're gonna go the next one. We heat up our leaf. We put, while it's still warm, as fast as possible. Actually, it would be, you know, now that I'm thinking, it's kind of easier if we put our little glue over here, you know, and we are going to glue over that. And we stretch over it, and there we go. And then we go to the other one. And can you see? So it's pretty easy. Look how pretty that looks. So we're gonna put a little bit more glue all around, even over here, because when it's warm. And we're going to thermoform the next little leaf. And it's gonna look so much like a beautiful sunflower. Can you see that? So we're gonna go next one. And we stretch over it. Next one. Now you may want to do this with your little tips right here, like this, stand them up like that one, so they won't be all exactly like flat. So we're going to put a little bit more glue all around here, and we're going to do the next one. And just stretch over it, make that little point up. Next one. Stretch over it, and we got that little thing up. Next one. Did not put the glue here. So next one, and one more. So it's pretty cute. So you got the first side of it all. Now we're gonna do the second line. So we're gonna go over it. So we're gonna continue. We're gonna glue it now a little bit higher, and we're going to do the same thing, just a little, because it's going to be like 5 lines. Can you see that? Lift it a little bit. So you're going to try to put one between the other one, right? We're going to try to keep a little line. Put a little bit more glue here, and we're just going to glue and make it look super pretty. So while we go around here, we're going to be trying to make this little thing tighter, because that's where you want. Then you're going to do the last line. So we're going to turn a little bit of glue. We're kind of making this sturdier right here. I'm going to put more glue. So I won't forget. And the next one. Just going to put a little bit extra here. try to keep your as straight as possible. So we're going to continue with our little leaves. And you can see this is tightening up. And one more, just one more right here. So look at how pretty that looks. So now we're gonna try to make this a little bit sturdier, because this is, it all depends if you, I mostly work for event planners, so I get hired mostly by event planners. But if you are an event planner, you're gonna want to use your PVC pipe to repurpose it. So this is, and if you're just for your home decor and you're not gonna be repurposing your flower, you can actually just wrap, make this a little bit sturdier, grab one little leaf, and you're just going to wrap around, making it a little bit sturdy so when it enters the PVC pipe, right? So so this is going to be inside the PVC pipe. So we're just gonna glue it and stretch it as much as possible, because this is like your little thing that's going to be go in there. So the next line of leaves, you don't want to glue it to this part, you just want to glue it to this part. You can actually put it inside the PVC pipe. For purposes of this video, I'm actually going to do it like here and not going to glue this. I don't know if you can see, because this will go into the PVC pipe and this should glue around the PVC pipe. You know, it's kind of like to keep it there. So we're just gonna glue it to the bottom part, okay? Here, and then we're just gonna imagine our little PVC pipe is here, and we're just gonna glue from this edge to the downside. And this should glue around your PVC pipe. And it's gonna make it super sturdy. So you leave that little edge in here, okay? So we're gonna do another little leaf and just glue it on the bottom side. And just kind of, turn it a little bit, stretch it out here, and we're just gonna put glue here in this area, okay? Now, some people, if you want, you may want to put in the PVC pipe first and then glue it around. You know, it's really up to you. It's however you feel it's easier. But I'm gonna do it like this because mostly I think, event planners want to reuse and repurpose their materials, which is what all this is a little bit all about. All those sunflowers, oh, you just don't want to use them again because they're just so beautiful, you don't want to move them. But sometimes you do. So you see. So there's a little open space in here. I don't know if you can see. So that's about it. So we're just going to glue the bottom part, not around the pipe, until we put in the pipe. think I'm just gonna do one more. So you've got a lot of leaves left over, which you can use for many, many, many things. So we're gonna glue the bottom part and just put it right there. So we are ready to enter the last phase of our work. Look at how pretty that looks. And that's, so now we're gonna go on to the next phase. So now we go to step, we're gonna get our four 14 gauge wires from our pack and our floral tape. And we are just going to glue the wire 3/4, just leave a little tip and close it up, trying for the wire not to show. So we're gonna put the wire in there, hold it, close it, press it right at the edge, and try to open your leaf like that. Making sure the wire cannot be seen. So you can see here the edge. So we're just going to put a little bit more glue to make sure this part is properly closed. And here we go. So we got leaf, and we're going to open it like that. We're going to curve it up like that. Make sure this is closed. And now we're going to go to leaf number 2. We're going to do the same thing. Dab of glue. We're going to put our 14 gauge wire in there. Close it up as tight as we can. We want the wire right at the edge of the foam. And then you want to open up the leaf so you make sure the wire is like right at the edge. Like I can feel it right here. And we're going to do that. And we want that to look like that. So now it's closed, and we're going to just make sure it is glued properly here. And we got that. So we got our leaf number 2. Then we're going to glue our leaf number 3. Good dab of glue. We press right at the edge, and when we turn it around, we make sure it's right at the edge of the foam, and we can do this and open it up, making sure that we got this right as glued as possible to this, and right at the edge. So you want this looking like that. We've got leaf number 2. And then we're going to do the last one. So we just glue it up. We press the wire. We curve it. This is 14 gauge. Normally I use 22 gauge because it's like 3 leaves together, but since these are 2 leaves together, we use the 14 gauge. So we're gonna press this little thing down, making sure we get it. Ooh, you see that little tip? You don't want that. So we're gonna put a little bit more glue here. You don't want that happening. So I'm just gonna hold it until this dries. We're just going to put 2 of them together. We're going to leave approximately 2 inches. We're going to cut a piece of our floral tape that's inside our kit, 10, 12 inches, and we're just going to wrap these wires around. Leave 1 to 2 inches at the edge so you can open the leaves around, and that's it. And we are ready. Look how pretty. So we put one over the other, and you want them both looking like that. Now when you accommodate them, you can try doing it like that, doing it like that, whichever way. So you got your leaves. Now we're gonna do, this one needs a little bit of blue in here. I don't like the way it's looking in there, so I'm just gonna place a little extra and hold it. And then we're gonna do the same thing with these two, so we can have two sets of leaves. Set one and set two. We're gonna cut our 10 inches, and we're going to wrap our two wires around. And we're going to roll our tape. And I think I got a tape that's from another box. Sorry. But because this one is a light green. The kit comes in another kit. So we are going to turn leaf one and leaf two. And we've got our two sets of leaves. And we're ready to go to the next step. So we are now at our last phase. We have our two sets of leaves. We have our finished flower. We have our giant floral tape, and we have our bendable PVC aluminum pipe. So you will start opening this up. You know, it's still a little bit hard. And you know, I like to kind of bend it a little bit here. You do have to leave, I don't know if you can see. Make sure that you don't go too hard because it can fold. So if it does happen, just try to stretch it back out again. And we're gonna do this. And I am going to start, wrapping our flowers. So I'm going to take the plastic out of my giant floral tape. Oh, I love this giant floral tape. It was honestly one of the best developments of Amazing Giant Flowers, because before that, I'd had so much trouble cutting foam, but this has been amazing. So we are going to start from the top and try to always wrap like towards the outside, you know, like, so we're going to start wrapping our PVC pipe with our flower tape, and we're just going to start rolling. And here we go. Now you're going to calculate where you want your leaves. Depends if it's going to be a centerpiece in a table where people will be sitting down around it. Well, I suggest the leaves, you put them at least 10 inches from the top, 10, 12 inches, you know, because so they can be seen, but not all the way down here. Me, since it's going to be for a wall, I kind of do want them down. So I'm going to go it all the way as slow as possible. And now put my first leaf. I'm going to go like halfway through it and then keep on wrapping around. And then the other leaf on the other side, make sure we kind of, here we go. A little bit higher. So it's totally up to you how close you want the leaves or the, so
to the bottom part. I think the light is moving a little bit. Well, they are giant flowers, so they are pretty giant. So I guess I'm just gonna have to use my hand here. And be stretching it pretty well. So this is all, you know, normal floral tape. It is wax, so you do want to put at the edge of it a little bit of glue, and if you can use the silicone glue, probably sticks better. To wrap it here pretty tight, and then you're going to stretch this one out to one side. Oh, they look on the same side, but you can just turn them around. So here you go, and then this is the part I was telling you about the gluing here. So it's totally up to you. You can cut this smaller. I'm just gonna leave it like that, you know. And then right here, I don't know if you can see, you're going to put it all the way to grab that. And with this little thing is what you glue around it. Can you see? So I pushed it all the way in there, and then you glue all this around it. Like, I'm gonna glue it. Normally I kind of don't. I just put a little bit of glue because I reuse all my pipes all the time for different events, but well, we are recording, so you're gonna get it really sturdy here. Oh, look what a beautiful. So now it's time to set up. This is amazing. And we are done. Look at this gorgeousness. Beautiful sunflower. Congratulations.